Hey guys, I am Royce Hunt Bell, owner and operator of Roycycled Treasures. In our last simple decoupage videos, we took this board, we painted it with a quick coat of white paint, and we decoupaged it using one of Roycycled Treasures decoupage paper. We started off with a large 20 by 30 inch decoupage sheet. These sheets are 18-pound tissue paper and they're perfect for decoupage. We had to make a choice about what we were going to put on our board, and I figure a lot of you are asking, but what about the elements that I want to include, Royce? I'm just going to cut them off. Well, let me show you how you can still add those elements. We'll put this aside. I still have this little piece left over from when we decoupaged this. And you know what? I really love this little butterfly, and I think I want him to be part of the party. So I'm going to show you guys how I cut him out and how I can decoupage him right over the top of this, and he'll hardly be noticeable as a separate element than the rest of the decoupage paper. What I'll do is I'll take a small paintbrush. Now, the smaller your brush, the more accurate your cut is going to be. Let me see if I can find something smaller than this. This is the brush I pulled out first. It's kind of bushy though, right? It wouldn't give me a lot of control. So I'm pulling out this brush. It's a little finer and smaller than the last brush. It's not perfect, but we can make it work. So all I'm going to do is just take a little bit of water. I have my water here. I'm supposed to be drinking, you guys, but we'll use it for crafts. Just a little bit of water in my bowl, just enough. And I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to literally draw a line around this butterfly using my paintbrush. I'm going to go all around my butterfly. Now I'm using quite a bit of water because I want it to soak through the paper. Because what I'm going to do is after I've drawn the line all the way around my butterfly, I'm actually going to tear it, and it's going to tear perfectly wherever I put that water. You don't want to go too far because if you wait too long, your water will begin to dry out. And so we want to actually do it while the paper is still pretty wet. And you guys see how after I drew that line, it tore perfectly right there where I wet it. Now, you can cut your elements out and decoupage them over the top, but just know that they're going to look sharper against the rest of your project and not as blended as it does when you use this. People also dry tear their paper as well. I just like this method because I feel like it gives me a little bit more control. And in my holy imagination, I imagine that the paper around the edge is thinner once I tear it this way, because when I wet the paper, I wet it, and then when I pull out, it comes apart. So the paper on the edges are probably thinner, not that we could ever see with our eyes, than the rest of the paper, which I believe is why it blends so well when you use this process. I am literally just drawing a line all the way around my butterfly. And then I'm pulling straight out. If you're nervous, you can use your hand to hold down your butterfly while you tear to ensure you don't tear off anything that you want to keep, especially if you're trying to cut out something that's intricate. He's pretty easy because he's a solid mass. Full disclosure, I am not going to try to cut out his antenna. That's just too much. So I'm just going to pretend like it's not there. But I'll keep his feet. You don't want to use too much water because if you put too much water down, then you lose control over where the water goes. So it's a bit of a dance, and like everything else, you may have to practice, but it's easy enough. I always say to people who said they tried something and it hasn't worked, if you haven't tried at least 3 times, you haven't really tried. Like anything else, it may take a couple of practices before you get something mastered. And there I go. I have my butterfly. He's all cut out. Now to figure out where we want to put him on our board. And put that aside. It doesn't want to stay up there, you guys. So this is how I see my board, because I have the lettering here on the top that's facing up. And so I think that he will look really beautiful if he were, let's see, if he's over there, that's 2 butterflies on one side. How about we put him right here? What do you guys think? I think that's going to be beautiful. So let's put him there. Now what I have in my jar here, or in my cup, is Wise Owl's 1 Hour Enamel. It's my favorite decoupage medium, and it's what I'm using today. The matte formula is my personal favorite, but it also comes in satin and gloss, so you can find what you like. I'm also using my Wise Owl micro edge brush to do my decoupaging. You guys see that edge? That's why it's called a micro edge. This brush is fabulous for cutting in when you don't feel like taping. So all I'm going to do is put down product here. And I am going to put this guy right here on top of my other decoupage. Now this is easy enough because he's small, but I still want to make sure that I get full coverage underneath any area where I'm going to lay my butterfly down, so I don't have problems with bubbling or lifting up later. Because this is so small, I can both seal and decoupage at the same time, which is the beauty of using this product. And because this is used to seal furniture and cabinets and doors, you know that you're going to have a project that's going to last and be durable over time. Now he's wrinkling up a little bit, and the paper underneath him is wrinkling just a bit. But again, I'm not going to worry about that, because I know that as the paper dries and shrinks, all those wrinkles are going to disappear. And now I was able to integrate this butterfly into my final piece, even though he wasn't part of this piece of paper. And you guys can see that he's seamless, and you really can't tell where he starts and where he begins. So if you have a large piece of decoupage paper and there are elements that you'd like to include in your project, but they don't fit when you lay your paper down initially, just know that you can just cut out the pieces that you want and you can decoupage them right over your project. Now that my butterfly is all laid out and integrated, I'm going to go over the whole thing with another coat of 1 Hour Enamel. It will both unify the whole project, and it'll also protect the surfaces against any scratches or spills or anything that can happen on a tray, right? So I'm just taking my 1 Hour Enamel and I'm laying it over the top. Nice even coats. I want to make sure that I cover the whole thing. Whenever you're decoupaging, especially when you're adding elements, by sealing the whole piece together, it helps to unify the design. So you can't tell that you just stuck something on there. So you really want to go back in and cover your project with another coat of sealer. And now it's absolutely beautiful. Once it dries, you won't even be able to tell that we added this butterfly later. If you guys have questions about projects I used today, or if you're looking for them, you can find them on my website. I'll have the link below. You can also find the Roycycled Decoupage Papers with retailers all over the US, Canada, and Australia. I'll put the link below where I can show you where to find retailers who carry Roycycled Decoupage Paper. Thank you guys so much for joining me. See you later. Have a great day.